Predator. That was my ringtone.
Oh, okay.
Not my ringtone. That's
It didn't even sound like the Predator. It sounded like a wet fart.
mine was it was my text messages set up onto Predator mode. So
Oh, okay.
Do you have it
so
where it's a different text?
It's not Kim Possible.
no,
Yeah, different
no, it's everybody.
people. Oh, everybody.
Everyone gets Predator. So yeah. All right, my fun facts. IKEA is designed like a maze because it want to make sure that you see everything
That
in
makes sense.
IKEA.
Mhm.
The way
If
IKEA.
it's like a casino, you get lost.
That's the same concept as Costco too. They rearrange everything so that it makes you look through all the aisles.
Yeah.
Also, nothing stays in one place. It's the same,
Yeah.
same spot.
Makes sense. They want to try to change it up so people have to find. Like,
Yeah.
If you got hangers from IKEA, you're like, I thought the hangers were here, and you have to go search around again.
So the average shopping trip at a Costco is actually like
An hour.
around an hour.
So
Typically like 20 to 30 minutes longer than a standard like shopping trip.
It's like usually you just want to go in there to pick up the fucking $5 chicken.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
you got to go all the way to the back and everything just to
Yeah.
get to it.
If you're not searching for food, like in the freezers and stuff like that, like it's somewhere else. So, but yeah, it's pretty fun and it's pretty fact-like. So, my fun fact is that roaches, if you kill them in your house and you don't get rid of the bodies, it just attracts more roaches because they're cannibals.
Ooh.
So, I mean, like kill the damn thing, get rid of the body.
Oh, kill it and flush it down the toilet.
Yeah, like you can't leave it there as an example. They'll just eat it.
Good to know.
When I was living in LA, huge roaches.
Isn't it freakier when you just find that shit like out of the blue, like in the dark? Because like when I remember, Jack and I used to live together in a house like a couple, but
Like a couple.
yeah. So there was one time I went into the garage of this house and I didn't get freaked out until like I turned on the light and there was just like a bunch of black dots and it just like scattered off and I was like that's shit that is like freaks you out because you never expect that to happen.
Yeah, that's some horror movie.
Were they big? Were they big?
Fairly big, like an inch. So, but it's just like I've never seen roaches before. So when it happened, it was just like, what the fuck was that? Like, but yeah, it was and then my first instinct was, how do I get rid of these things? And so when I started studying up on the nature of them and just like how they do business, pretty much it was like when you kill the roaches, like you do have to clean up the corpse like within the same day. I mean, pretty common sense, but if you just kill it and just like leave the remains like in a garage, then it's just like you're only attracting more because you're giving them a food source.
Good to know. They have something like for roaches, like they do for ants, where they go into this thing and then they can get rid of the colony because they bring it back or something like that.
Yeah, there's traps like that.
Okay.
So
I feel like you could use the roach as a bait, dead roach as a bait. But yeah,
I was even thinking about like before I learned about them, I was thinking about putting them on a like killing it and then putting it on a toothpick cross like Jesus and just like hanging it there. But that wouldn't have worked. What you got, Jack?
All right. My fun fact is when Microsoft tried to release their own mobile phone, right? And so when they did that, what they did to celebrate their new mobile phone being released way back in like 2010s, early 2010s or something like that.
You gave out iPads.
They had a funeral for iPhone because they thought it was going to be so good that they're like, yeah, we'll on iPhone. So they had a fake funeral for iPhone. Turns out that didn't happen.
What did they release?
It's called Windows Phone 7. It had the little tiles that you can move around. They didn't have like, the little apps on the window. They had these tile things.
Windows Phone 7, like
Yeah.
this was the 7th model, or was this
Yeah.
Windows 7?
They basically had smartphones before, but they kind of sucked. They were like trying to use a computer with like a little pad, a little nipple looking thing.
Uh-huh.
So they tried to release a new phone that had like all touchscreen features and was a little bit different than iPhone and Android. So they tried to release that to a big fanfare and all that, but it didn't work.
Damn. Well, I mean, that's some balls there to go that far. And I'm just wondering what features like did they think would win over the iPhone?
Maybe because it looked different. It looked pretty different than an iPhone. So I'm showing Walker what it looked like. It had these instead of a home screen with apps and stuff, it had these like tile things that you can move around.
Yeah. So like the Windows 7 setup.
Yeah, like the Windows operating system in your desktop setup. It tried to look like that, where there's a lot of touch area and stuff.
So it's all like widgets.
Yeah, all like widgets instead of little icons to go to your apps. It didn't really click with a lot of people. And they didn't have a lot of apps.
Yeah.
I think that was the killer part of it. There's no apps supporting it.
Speaking of killers, which brings us to our topic of the day is our experiences with first dates. Cola's got the most interesting stories, so why don't you kick us off here?
All right, so I think probably the first one I ever had was in high school, and I think I asked this girl out to go to the movies, and then another girl overheard us, and she decided to invite herself to the movies. So it's me and the other girl just being, I think it was awkward. It's just like, all right, I can't make my move because somebody is here and stuff like that. So it was just awkward. Was I sitting in the middle of the movie?
Huh?
Was sitting in the middle of things? No, I wasn't. So it was weird. It was weird.
Or maybe
Sometimes
it was the exact tactic to use. Ask you out.
Oh, so she was like, so you're saying like, oh, she was nervous. So she's like, if he asked me out, join me. Okay.
Get in there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Or she can just say no and call it a day. So that's fine. That's fine with me. I don't have enough money.
Yeah.
I was
We
like,
gotta go to a matinee. We gotta go to a matinee because we're not going to no evening showings.
I mean, yeah, but when you're a kid, like, what kind of financial success are you expecting at that age?
Yeah, we're splitting the bills all the time.
I know. I mean, you don't have any money. You can't.
What was it ever? Okay, so was it ever in your repertoire to pay for the dinner or whatever you were going to?
No, at that age, I think we were just splitting everything. Yeah, at that age, we were splitting everything. No, I mean, there was no part-time job or anything. It was just splitting everything.
Damn. That. So then, how did the rest of the night go? Did you end up sleeping with a friend?
No, not at all. I think it was just, I think we just hung out. We would go get some boba and call it a day. So
Boba was around at that time? Well,
yeah, it was
old-
around
how-
that time.
it
It
was.
was
how old were you?
it
First
was
off?
called bubble milk tea.
Bubble-
Maybe it was like 15, 16.
Yeah, it was around at 15, 16.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Considering like Tapioca
It
Express.
was it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't called, it's it was, I think it was bubble milk tea or something like that. That's what it was called before.
Mhm. Yeah, so isn't it tapioca then?
Yeah,
like-
it's like tapioca drinks. They opened up like around 2000s.
But like, but for some reason, the term boba stuck around a lot better than tapioca.
Yeah. And
Obviously, it rolls off the tongue a lot better, but it's just like, it was tapioca, but for some reason, everyone was just like, nope, it's boba. And they just followed the traditional Chinese term or whatnot coined after it. Wow, that is interesting. I asked that question just because my first date experience was the girl was gonna pay for me.
lucky.
Well, I don't. It was horrible timing for me, honestly. It was extremely bad timing for me for a first date sort of deal because like, I don't know. It's just I didn't know how to properly let people down. But some people just like this girl really wanted to hang out and wanted to go on a date. And I like clearly was not interested. And I tried to make it known, but it's just like not in a mean way, but it was just like, yo, like I'm not comfortable with this, but they just kind of kept forcing the idea. And I'm just like, when I say forcing the idea, they were calling me 6 or 7 times a day and still trying to get a yes answer for like hours on end. So it got to the point where it's just like it wore me down because I just like, dude, I do not want to fucking hear another phone call. But yeah, so she sweetened the deal a lot where it was like, I'll pay for a movie, I'll pay for I can't even remember what we were watching. Pay for the movie, I'll pay for the food and everything, just come along. And so like I got pulled along for this, and I think I was like the worst date ever, because like I had this look on my face where it's just like I clearly did not enjoy any of it. And I was I was mad that I had to invest parts of my day to come along for something that I didn't even want to be a part of. So like, seriously, I had the look of like, I was mad. My arms were crossed the entire time as I was walking. And then my head was shrunken down and like,
Dang. Walker is like a little kid. that
Yeah,
Didn't
no.
get what he wanted at the candy store. or
Yeah,
something like that.
seriously. But again, I was like 12.
Oh yeah.
I was 12. I'm like, I don't want I don't want anything to do with any of this right now. So I'm walking along, and then the girl is constantly trying to talk to me, and like, me being me, I'm just like, dude, I don't want to like, I don't even know why the fuck I'm here. And so yeah, it was pretty much like we were on a double date, and then the other date's mom came to pick us up, and then I'm like, I really don't want to fucking be here right now. Like, that's literally what I was saying for the entire time. Like audibly, people could hear me.
Damn. Harsh.
Yeah. And yeah, it stuck out so well in my mind, because like they were just like, yo, like your friend can go home. Your friend can go home. He clearly does not want to be here. And so she, like, before the movie started, she took me back, and then like she ended up going by herself. was like, oh, fucking finally. And then like, you know, like having such an awkward moment with this girl. I immediately started watching naked anime titties after. Yeah, I was just like, this is where my time should be. Like kind of thing. It's just like, this is where I'm most productive. I belong here. Like,
Naked anime titties.
I know. I was just like, because I had just discovered like anime
Naked.
that had nudity in it for the first time because of that Channel 10 shit that like
Oh, I remember that.
that Jack and I used to watch back in the day.
Channel 10 shit, yeah.
Yeah.
They even had porn, except it was scrambled
Yeah.
on certain channels back
Oh,
in the
was Channel 10 like a cable HBO kind of channel?
No, it was like a public access, and then like it just had some like late night weekend shit going on.
yeah, certain channels. I was surprised by this, but certain
Yeah.
channels on cable had porn, but
Yeah.
they would just scramble it.
Mhm.
It was scrambled.
It's
but
scrambled,
then
but you heard it though.
you heard it. You heard the voice, and then if you look hard enough, you could see
I
see a
said-
boob or something like that.
That looked like a titty.
And then I remember like there's some households that had these scramblers so that they can get all that they can unscramble all that shit and see it for free.
Yeah, like we had that. That was the best.
And then, you know, as a kid, you just go through the channels like, oh, I want to watch a movie. Like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what it was. It was a show called Top Soup,
Okay.
and 10:05 on the dot, it just popped up. I was like, oh,
Was it scrambled or
it was unscrambled
it was
because
unscrambled,
yeah,
okay.
we had one of those like boxes, cable
Yeah.
boxes. So it was pretty wild, and I was just like, oh shit! Like they were talking about they were talking about like celebrities back then, and then all of a sudden it's just like titty.
Nice. It was like back in the day.
Yeah,
Now it's easier.
That's
Yeah.
even
Oh,
easier. You got internet.
yeah. and
Every
it's-
kid, even little kids have like iPhones, and you know those parents aren't putting like blockers and filters on that shit. And you can bypass it if you know.
Some kids
well
are
enough.
super fucking smart about that. I
Yeah.
had one of my assistants. She had a kid who, you know how iPhones and shit like they had the fingerprint technology back then.
Yeah.
So her kid actually took her hand while she was sleeping and then just started buying shit on the App Store. I was
Nice.
just like, I mean, I'm not sure. I would be mad, but at the same time, be kind of impressed that they thought like that far ahead.
I mean, some of the kids probably steal the credit cards and can enter all of the information for that and get it all in.
Yeah. Kid was playing like Fortnite, spent like $1,500 in her like with her credit cards. I was like, oh my god. Yeah. But yeah, that was my first date experience. Not the greatest. Of course, this topic is not limited to just the first date. It could be many first dates.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so that kind of gives a bit more ammunition to the topic.
Yeah.
What do you got, Jack?
For me, my first date, I was like around Walker's age, 12. And there's this girl I liked, so I asked her out, and then we ended up going to this like burger place, kind of like a burger place where it's not a chain, it's just some place where they just make you a burger. And that was our date, and I paid, and it was a lot of money at the time because as a kid you only had like at most 10 or 20 bucks, so
Mm.
I used all that to pay for dinner. And then we went back to, I was staying with my aunt at the time, and then we just hung out. It was awkward because I was a kid, I didn't know how to talk to girls and stuff, and so we just sat around, and I can't even, it was so bad I can't even remember what we talked about. It was mostly silence, awkward silence.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, it was not very
Yeah.
not very good.
Mhm.
So
It does highlight the idea that like
because I knew I had to take a girl out on a date and I had to pay for it, but then what do you do after? So how do you get from point A to point B? Yeah.
I mean, it does highlight the idea that like, you know, if we had invested a bit more thought into it, it's like a good way to ease ourselves into the dating world is just like have a level of common interest.
Yeah. Especially like, yeah, nowadays kids
Mhm.
can talk about like anything, or you can just look up something
Mhm.
on TikTok or whatever and share a common interest there.
Mhm.
You actually had to figure out
Mhm.
and talk about like random stuff until you get to something, unless you already have like a shared interest, like you both like something in school, like
Mhm.
or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays it's just everything is expedited to where swipe left or swipe right. And um, you know, I didn't give myself the luxury of that level of dating. So I mean, I never really got that perspective. My relationships have typically been pretty organic, but I have gone through like a dating site or two. So I mean, uh Cola used to work at a dating site, so I mean, I wanted to get his input on like how modern dating has worked out for him.
Um, I mean,
Spoiler.
no, I kind of think I kind of think the dating apps ruined a lot of things. Um, just because you know those interactions that we always have gone away. I think the bars are out of place, and I mean, if you don't match up with anyone before school, then it can be a mess when you're out there. So in general, like bars don't work, and then you know, and those dating apps, you realize like the whole culture, the American culture is like, you know, the guys are always supposed to be asking out the girls and stuff like that, and the women are always frustrated because they're constantly getting all these messages from people, right? You know,
Mhm.
getting all these messages from men, and, you know, and not having pick. But then the guys on the guys end, like guys can swipe all day and not get a like from anybody. So
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean that's modern dating now,
Mhm.
and you realize how for me like you realize how shallow women are when they say they're not, right?
Uh, well, yeah, in the sense that we're in the Facebook Photoshop era of things
Oh, we
where
got filters now.
yeah,
We can make
exactly.
ourselves look.
Things
So yeah, so I mean I think the criticism is always on the men, but then the women don't you know they don't judge themselves as much as they do the men, because for one thing when I was on the dating apps I didn't put height on there. I didn't put height, I didn't put race, because all that factors into it when they're doing the searches. They're like, oh, they're looking for a guy over 6 feet. And it's like you're not gonna show up in their feeds. So it's like, what's the point? You gotta like neutralize. No, all they had was my photo and my name. That's it, and send that out, because what they're doing is like, once this is our preferences and stuff like that. For me, like if I'm looking at women, it's like if I'm looking at women, you get those heights, you get your ethnicities and stuff like that, but then you don't put your weight, you don't put anything on that. Like forget it. It's like, right.
Hmm.
And that's the hard truth about it.
It's like you're not 6 feet like I
You
am
should-
on a ladder.
you should
Right.
put your weight as 900 pounds.
Yeah, or make it something
So it's
ridiculous.
like, so
8
yeah,
feet.
so I think if for those dating apps, eliminate height, eliminate weight, because if you're not gonna include it for men, you include it for women's profile, then you need to include it for men, like height and stuff, that you need to take all that out of there.
Yeah, there's definitely those bad ones that kind of ruin the entire experience where it's just
Yeah.
someone like someone who does the whole double standard hypocritical shit that happens where it's just like I don't want people to judge me for who I am, but I want someone that is A, B, and C. And it's just like,
Yeah,
well, it's not how things work because
it's
it's just
tough.
like, yeah. So I mean, luckily I'm married now, so I can get as ugly as I want. So,
It's tough. I mean, it's tough. It's tough out there.
mm. Yeah, there's a lot of the nuance is gone, but it's been replaced with a different kind of nuance now, where it's just like it's very much it very much feels more like there's a lot more I'm just gonna use this term, trickery involved.
Trickery.
Yeah.
Manipulation, illusion, magic.
Deception.
Yeah, because it's just like realistically, that's what it is. It's just like you can't sugarcoat it because you're like, I get it. Not everyone, there's a lot of features that people don't like about themselves, but that's also what makes you you. But it's like some people try very hard to mask that stuff and then just don't think about the repercussions of what it does as a society. It's just like it's like, yeah, it's harmless because it's for that one person, and the idea of the social media presence is you don't have to pay attention to them. But unfortunately, we all have a platform where everyone is kind of forced or coerced into paying attention to someone. So it's a hand-in-hand thing. But yeah. What about your take, Jack? Because
Dating.
yeah, like, well, modern dating.
Yeah, modern dating's tough. It's a
But you're technologically driven, so that's
well, I don't know, you just got to keep going.
Jack's not gonna make an app for just dating.
Huh?
It's called Dating Jack. That's the app.
You just
It's
got to
just
keep.
one man profile.
It's
Yes.
the
Didn't
numbers.
someone do that?
It's a numbers game. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody did that.
Yeah. It's a numbers game, but I don't know how you can make an app for only one person. It doesn't make sense. And also, most of the dating sites and dating apps, you're gonna have like a 5-man. The ratio is not going to be in your favor. It's going to be 5 dudes to one girl or something like that.
Nah, it's more. It's
Or-
larger than that. It's like 100 guys to one girl.
Yeah. So it's really in the girl's favor for her pick.
Yeah.
But again, there's definitely risks as a girl because you're putting yourself out there, so you can get harassed or
And there's
possibly
a lot of
raped.
creeps.
And there's a lot of creeps and a lot of guys sending their personal pictures.
Yeah.
So it's not all fun for women too.
I do tell that to my wife though, in more modern dating now, like women do have a lot more power in a lot of this. However, the flip side of that is that there's an added amount of pressure.
And creeps to deal with.
Yeah. So it's just like it does sort of blur your idea of a potential good mate.
Dang, you guys should watch the Netflix film Hustlers about was it dating app Tinder Hustlers?
Oh no,
I don't know. It's a
I'm-
Tinder Hustlers. Like, I'm like, where are these guys getting these women to give them money? I'm like, they're hustling the girls for like money and all this stuff. Like, it's crazy.
Mm.
I mean, I could see that. It reminds me of like that one show, 90 Day Fiance, where you got like some good looking guy on the other side of the world, puts up fake pictures and whatnot, and tries to get like old middle-aged divorcees to give them money. It's happened.
Yeah. So, and then like, and they pair them off because it's the idea of the train wreck that just draws people's attention. Like no one wants to see the relationship that worked out that much. But yeah, I was watching a YouTuber talk about this one video about this rich kid made a documentary about being rich. I think it's called like Born Rich or something like that. But it's basically like ousting a lot of like heirs to fortunes, because their life is basically like you're born into like an idea of like money is your life and your personality. So and it was talking about how you know, like even though the rich people are born into like that role, that's all they can identify as and nothing else. So it's just like they just don't care about other people. So I mean, the point of that is just like that's sort of like the relevancy of like social media presence. You're
Mhm.
popular enough, you don't have to give a shit, and you don't have to give a shit about like empathy or anything like that, relationship building, and it's just a non-existent or foreign concept because everything's so fast that you don't have to build a relationship.
Boom.
All right.
So much for your first date.
Yeah. First date was the last date for that one, but it's okay. You know, you live and you learn, and hopefully we all have better first dates from that.
Yeah.
But I've only gotten slightly better, but hey. She said yes, so I think that says something